You're alive, but are you actually living? Days move fast, your screen never sleeps. Your heart feels heavy, but you can't explain why. You want to be close to Allah, you really do. But distractions pull you away before you even begin. Most teenagers, honestly, most people feel this way now. Always busy, always connected, yet quietly disconnected inside. It's become normal in this generation to be everywhere except present. This is the story of Zahra. She's thoughtful, kind, the type who tries even when she's tired. On the outside, she's doing fine. School, friends, family, routine. But inside, she feels scattered, pulled in 100 directions, wanting Allah but not knowing how to slow down enough to feel him. And she doesn't know it yet, but one small reminder is about to change the way she sees everything. Zahra lived in a quiet neighborhood where evenings smelled like dust and dinner cooking. Kids laughed outside. Neighbors greeted each other from across fences, but Zahra rarely noticed. She walked home from school with her friends, earbuds in, scrolling. Her classmates talked about trends, drama, plans for the weekend. She smiled, she nodded, but her mind was elsewhere. At home, her mother called from the kitchen.
Zahra, come eat before the food gets cold.
Zahra answered without looking up.
In a minute, Mama.
The minute turned into 20. Her mother called again, softer this time.
Zahra, we're almost done.
Zahra finally put her phone down and joined them at the table. She ate. She nodded when someone spoke, laughed at the right moments, but her mind was somewhere else. By the time she stood up, the house was quieter. Plates clinked softly in the sink. She went back to her room. Homework sat half done. Quran rested untouched on her shelf. She wasn't lazy, she was overwhelmed. Every task bled into the next. Study into scrolling. Scrolling into guilt. Guilt into exhaustion. And somewhere between it all, she stopped being present. One evening, after another long day, Zahra opened her Quran app without a plan. Her eyes landed on a verse.
Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves. Surah Ar-Ra'd, verse 11.
She stared at the screen.
What is within me? And how do I even begin changing it when I feel this scattered?
She locked her phone and placed it face down. Not out of motivation, but because pretending was exhausting. The next day, during Islamic studies, the teacher handed back notebooks and placed a single sheet on each desk.
Your homework is to read this hadith carefully. Reflect on it. Write what it means to you, not what you think it should mean.
Zahra took the paper without interest. She slid it into her bag between notebooks and pens. The bell rang. Classmates rushed out. Life continued. That night, Zahra sat on her bed, legs crossed, backpack open. The paper slipped out. She almost forgot about it. Almost. Then she reads it.
Be mindful of Allah, and He will protect you. Be mindful of Allah, and you will find Him before you. Know that what has passed you was never meant for you.
Then again, her chest tightened. She didn't cry, she just went still. Her thoughts slowed for the first time in a long while. Not perfect, not extreme, just aware. Aware when she reached for her phone without thinking. Aware when she rushed through life without intention.
Be mindful of Allah, and you will find Him before you.
Her eyes stung.
Allah wasn't distant. I was distracted.
She thought about all the moments she felt lost and how Allah had still been there, waiting. A tear slipped down her cheek. She wiped it quickly and kept reading.
What has passed you was never meant for you.
The pressure she carried to keep up, to catch up, to be more suddenly loosened. She exhaled. Not relief, clarity. The room stayed quiet after her thoughts settled. Zahra looked down at the paper again, not like homework anymore, like something personal. She picked up her pen, slowly, carefully. She thought deeply for a short while, then wrote what the hadith means to her.
This hadith makes me realize that Allah was never far from me. I was just not paying attention to Him in my daily life.
She paused, the words sinking in.
Being mindful of Allah doesn't mean doing big things all the time. It means remembering Him between moments, not only during prayer. I think distractions don't steal our time, they steal our awareness.
She stopped writing. For a second, she just stared at the page. Then at the bottom, she added a small note. Not asked for, not planned, just honest.
If I really want to be mindful of Allah, I should pause before moving from one task to another. Create small, quiet moments instead of waiting for motivation.
She read everything once more, her eyes filled with tears, not sadness, not fear, but recognition. She folded the paper carefully and placed it back in her bag. The next afternoon, sunlight spilled across the classroom desks. The Islamic studies teacher stood at the front, holding a stack of marked papers. She smiled.
Before we begin today's lesson, I want you all to know I was genuinely impressed by your homework. Every single one of you reflected deeply. I truly wish we had time for everyone to stand up and share, but there are many of you.
A few students exchanged looks.
So instead, I'm going to ask a few students who wrote especially unique and personal reflections to briefly explain their answers.
She glanced at her list.
Yusuf.
Yusuf stood and spoke.
The part about what misses you was never meant for you helped me stop stressing over things I didn't get: grades, opportunities, even friendships.
Applause. Then she looked at her list again and called.
Aisha.
Aisha spoke next.
Being mindful of Allah made me realize I react too fast, and I lose peace when I don't pause.
More clapping. Then
Hassan.
Hassan cleared his throat and then spoke.
This hadith helped me forgive myself. I've been carrying guilt for a long time.
The teacher nodded. Then the teacher called Zahra.
Zahra.
Zahra stood, holding her paper.
I wrote that being mindful of Allah doesn't mean doing big things. It means remembering Him between moments when we move from one task to another.
She hesitated, then added.
I also wrote a small note for myself about creating quiet moments instead of waiting for motivation.
The room stayed still. Then the class clapped, warm and genuine. Zahra sat down, heart steady. That afternoon, Zahra came home tired from all the classes and schoolwork. She dropped her bag by the door, her phone buzzed. She reached for it, then paused, just like she wrote. She sat on the edge of her bed, closed her eyes, one breath in, one breath out.
Ya Allah, I'm here.
No long dua, no perfect words, just awareness. Later, she opened a small notebook, not for school, for herself. She wrote one sentence.
Today, I didn't rush past you.
She smiled, barely. Then made herself tea, sat by the window, and let the evening be quiet. She opened her homework slowly, not jumping between tabs, not checking her phone every few minutes. One question at a time, one breath at a time. Later, she joined her family for dinner. She listened. She spoke. Laughed when her brother teased her, not distracted, just there. When the day finally wound down, she placed her phone face down on the desk, set her alarm, pulled the blanket close. A quiet alhamdulillah left her lips, not out of habit, but contentment. The next morning, Zahra woke up early. She prayed, got dressed, packed her bag. Everything looked the same, but she felt clearer. On the way to school, her friend walked beside her and said,
Yesterday's Islamic studies lesson really stuck with me, especially what you said. It reminded me to be present and made me feel calmer all evening.
Zahra blinked, surprised.
Really?
Yeah, it made me want to slow down.
Her friend smiled. Zahra smiled too. Grateful, quietly filled with the joy of knowing her words had helped someone else breathe a little easier. The days that followed felt lighter, not flawless, just aligned. She prayed without rushing, moved between tasks with pauses, left her phone on the desk during homework. At school, she listened more. At home, she spoke more gently. Even distractions felt weaker, like they no longer owned her attention. One night, she wrote in her journal.
This is what it feels like when life isn't loud.
She didn't say it out loud, but she thanked Allah. Then came the day everything unraveled. She woke up late, missed Fajr. Her morning turned frantic. Clothes pulled on in a rush, bags zipped without checking. No pause, no breath. She walked to school faster than usual, mind already racing ahead of her steps. Classes blurred together, bell to bell, task to task. No stillness between moments, and that's when it happened. She reached into her bag. Her heart sank. The assignment. The one she'd worked on for weeks. The one tied to something she really wanted. Her teacher waited, then nodded slowly, disappointed. Later that day, she passed a group of classmates. They were laughing, comparing projects, talking about how relieved they were it was finally submitted. One of them said,
Imagine forgetting something this important.
They laughed again. Zahra kept walking.
What's the point? I was doing so well.
Her chest tightened. Doubt crept back in quiet familiar.
Maybe I'm just not consistent. Maybe I can't keep this up.
She almost spiraled. Almost. That evening, Zahra sat on her bed. No phone, no background noise, just quiet. She didn't force herself to think about the day, she just let it settle. Slowly, the Hadith came back to her.
What missed you was never meant for you.
She repeated it in her mind. Not to feel better, just to understand it. She thought about the assignment, the rush, the disappointment. And for the first time, she didn't fight the feeling. She took a slow breath and moved through her evening with calm and presence. The days that followed passed gently. Nothing dramatic, just quieter. One afternoon, Zahra checked her email the way she always did. Unopened messages filled the screen. She read them one by one slowly until one subject line made her pause. Her heart skipped. She opened it.
We are pleased to inform you.
She leaned closer. The email spoke of an Opportunity A program focused on growth, learning, and purpose. A space she had once hoped for deeply. Something she had made dua for quietly a long time ago. She kept reading.
We would be honored to welcome you.
She stopped, read it again.
Accepted.
She didn't react right away, she just sat there. Her mind drifted back not to the hard days, but to a piece of paper folded in her notebook. Her homework. The words she had written honestly. The small note at the bottom not required, just true.
Pause before moving from one task to another. Create small, quiet moments.
She remembered how those small pauses had felt. The evenings that softened. The calm that came when she stopped rushing her life. Something settled inside her. She smiled, just a little. What's meant to find you doesn't get lost in the noise. It finds you when the time is right. She closed her laptop. Whispered,
Alhamdulillah.
not because everything went perfectly, but because she understood now, slowing down didn't cost her anything. It was guiding her quietly to where she was meant to be. Maybe your life feels loud right now. Maybe you're trying but still tired, still distracted, still unsure if you're doing enough. But mindfulness of Allah was never about doing more. It was about being present, between one task and the next, between one scroll and the next, between one breath and the next. You don't need a perfect routine. You don't need a perfect heart. Just don't rush past Allah. Because what's written for you will never miss you. And what lets go of you was never meant to remain. Start small. Slow down. Remember Him. That's where intention begins. Jazakum Allahu khairan for being here. Until next time, stay sincere. Stay seeking.